I'd like to kind of just switch the gears a little bit and talk about security. Because security isn't changing. First of all, there's more need for security, more than ever. There's more regulation requiring us to solve security issues. And we're finding in our organization, and the clients we deal with, that information is being spread at an alarming rate throughout the organization. So you really need the help of the entire company to be able to put a good security program in place. And Joe, I understand that you're acting as the security officer for HP Hood at this point in time. Could you share what your thoughts are on that?
Sure. I'm the security officer for HP Hood, and this is kind of a particularly challenging area for us at Hood. We're not, in the past, we traditionally haven't been heavily regulated. We're a dairy company, we're privately held, we're not a public company, basically it's a family trust. So security hasn't been a real high priority for the business, so there hasn't really been any business drivers to make sure security was, a real high priority for the business and consequently for IT. During the advent of these regulations, which have recently hit us, CMR 17, which is the mass privacy laws, some of the federal regulations that are coming out now, the red flag rule, as well as the tightening HIPAA regulations that are out. We are subject to some HIPAA regulations as well. This has sort of driven the business requirement home to the business, and to the point that we now have to put together a formal program and process and way to manage this whole security function. So what we've done, the approach that we've taken is, we thought it would be good to, number one, educate the business, and then obviously train the users. So our challenge was, let's get out in front of the business, let's involve the business, engage the business in, we'll educate them as to what security is, why we need it, why it helps the business. It helps business continuity, helps reliability, availability, all that sort of stuff, which, before was just ownership didn't really understand that. Now they understand that more. They still don't understand that to the extent that we'd like them to, but now they understand that more. But the process has been one of educating the user community as to what is it, why do we need it, how can we make it as seamless and as transparent as possible, because it's always been viewed as kind of an inconvenience, a necessary evil. People don't want to have to enter 2-3 different passwords. People don't want to carry around tokens and do all this other stuff. They just want it to be, they're used to having it, as easy and as simple as possible. I want to sign on once to my system and that's it. And don't bother me and go away and don't spend any money on it. So it's been an interesting challenge for us. We've had a lot of success. We've actually formed a security advisory board. We meet on a periodic basis, on a regular basis every year. We involve people from the business community. All the major departments are represented on this security advisory board. I'm the head of that board. Shane and Keita, Jack are on the board as well. And again, we meet on a regular basis, and we have a set agenda, and we also solicit the business and ask them, what are your requirements? What are the issues that you're facing? What do you see happening out there today? So it gets people involved, it gets them engaged, it gets them educated, it helps us, it gets us educated, and it builds that next layer of trust with the business folks.
That's awesome. One of the common threads I'm hearing through everything I've heard so far is that you guys take an approach that has grand ideas on what you want to accomplish, but you're doing it all in small steps. Very small steps, making grounds a little bit at a time, building trust, moving the ball a little bit further each and every time you do that. So that's remarkable. One of the things that's impressed me since I've been working with HP Hood is kind of your understanding of the fusion, your team, and how they're embracing the concept. Most technical groups suffer from the fact they understand technical, they focus on the detail, they sometimes don't focus on the business, or they lose sight of what the purpose of the organization is. So how have you made that transition to kind of turn an IT organization that has those challenges into something that's more business focused? Jack, would you mind? helping us understand that?
We've done a few different things. I think the first thing, and it was talked about earlier today, is sort of setting the agenda for that. And I'm one of these IT people that is with an evil person because I actually came out of the business. So I was a disgruntled, dissatisfied user that set up my own PC and started building my own little shadow IT. So that's how I ended up ultimately moving to IT. So I understand the other side. So I think just setting that agenda that it's being on the other side, it's satisfying that requirement first and sort of setting that stage. Things that we've done to make that happen, we have embraced ITIL as a framework. It's not the be-all, end-all, but the whole idea wasn't so much even all the exact processes and steps. It really was the fact that ITIL is about best practices in IT service management. It's to underscore the fact that it's a service. It's a service that's part of enabling the business. So we sort of started with that. We were also still stuck at the time of we came up with our own internal IT leadership development program. We came up with 6 competencies we thought we needed to be good at to be successful in our role. Number 3 used to be alignment. Then as I was reading along, I sort of said, no, alignment's out, fusion's in. So we sort of adjusted it towards fusion. But we have formal training, leadership training in that area to try to create fusion and make sure that we're an underlying enabler of the business. So it's been a cultural adjustment through education. And to sort of underscore that all the more, not only we have training on these types of skills, for this year, everyone in my department has to have 2 fusion goals in their objectives to make it real. To talk about, incenting people.
Yeah.
So you have to do your goals to get your merit increase. And there'll be a fusion goal for creating an interaction between our department and the business, and one between different components of our own internal department. And that was mentioned. Sometimes business technology or IT, you have the infrastructure people, and the desktop services people, and the applications people, and they don't always blend well. I think we've done a lot to move that forward as a team. But we wanted to reinforce that so that everyone has 2 fusion goals.
Very good. So we're pretty much at the end of time for this, but I'd like to say I was able to join Jack and his team for part of their leadership training that you did this year about the fusion and talk to them. And it's an investment of time and energy to be able to kind of determine what you need to educate on. I think you actually went as far as to hire an outside person to come in and help you construct the educational material. But it seems like that investment's paying off.
Yes, I think it is. I think for both the business and for the people in our department, people are getting it. I think people are getting excited about it. I think people do feel relevant, and I think that's a good thing. So I think it's really been successful for us at Hood.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for joining us today and sharing some of the things you've been doing, successes that you've had. So a round of applause for our friends here at HP Hood.